in Helsingfors in Finland. A warm welcome. There you go.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So, yesterday, 5 minutes before I took the train from Finland in Finland towards the airport, my father called me. And he said that he just learned that I'm going to Kristiansund. And he thought that I'm going to Bergen, that he knows Kristiansund. Yeah.
Do you wanna? No, okay.
So anyhow, so he's telling me that he knows Kristiansund because of Nonna, my grandfather. My grandfather was some kind of an industrialist, and he was supposed to take care of like a strategic food security of Finland, like post-war. So he was setting up all kind of like canning factories and this and that. And then, you know, he thought that it's not enough, that we need more protein in Finland. And Norway will be the answer. That we need your fish. So he was scanning the Norwegian coast and thought that Kristiansund, this is a safe harbor, that I want this. So he set up a factory here, yeah, called Norfin. It's still somehow existing. I guess people are living there now. But that's my grandfather. Yeah, I just learned it yesterday. Yeah, no, yo. Okay, so my name is Marko. I grew up originally up in North Finland, in Lapland. So kind of like village person. Like city was always for me a total alien place, and I didn't like city. My grandparents were living in a city, so I visited them every now and then, but I didn't understand like why the city, like snow could be black, and that it felt wrong. Anyhow, I've been ending up like working with the cities anyhow. And but like my viewpoint always, like or way of working is somehow I'm escaping to this my childhood memories in Lapland, and that's kind of like my power, how to attack cities. These works are moving quite freely in between architecture and some sort of environmental art, or kind of urbanism too, or at least thinking of people as communities. And they've been selected to 5 times to Venice Biennale, and little bit of this and that. This is the first work what we did. So we set up an office with my friend Sami Rintala, and we just graduated, but we found out like in 6 months that we had become something that we always hated. Like we were just total prostitute, like design prostitutes, just telling or doing what the big boys are telling us to do. Just and lost all the quality, like or the artistic or sensitivity in architecture, and was just like making money. So we decided to stop that and make some kind of like business kind of a harakiri, like an honorable suicide. And we thought that a good way would be that this little money what we had earned, that we become our own client, and we put the little money what we have and finance the work, whatever it is, and also build it ourselves, and so that there is no big boys. And then we ended up with this. So there is 3 abandoned barn houses. It's next to the Russian border. Also the field is abandoned. The farmer had just gone to the cities of the south. So we took these barn houses and we built legs for them, so that they also can start walking and after the farmers to the cities of the south. And the work is called Land Escape. It's a very simple system. Everything is abandoned, just rotten barn houses. And then some 2x4 structure inside them, and the legs are actually pine tree trunks upside down, so the bottom part is like 7 centimeters in diameter. And the free height is 10 meters. But this we built. But then strange thing happened, so I go home and these barn houses were left walking on the field. But I felt like strange, like stomach was feeling like nervous or hungry or I don't know what. But like I was thinking, keep thinking of the barn houses. They didn't leave me. I don't know what it was, but it was like very uneasy. I was like almost jealous for them that they keep walking on the field and I'm not there. But I couldn't understand. So then I talked with a friend of ours who is a contemporary dancer and a choreographer called Reijo Kela. So I talked with him and that what is this? And he said like this is normal, that in his profession this is normal, that your act has not ended, that you are still on the stage, you must finish it. Like there is an axis of energy that you've been building, but it's like continuing, that you must finish it. You know, that's the show and walk. But like, then how? And then he said, okay, let's work together because he feels that this architecture is kind of like a performative architecture or some sort of performance, so he can relate. So then we, like I said, we talked with him, and this is Reijo Kela with vodka. So then we set like an advertisement in a local newspaper saying that there is free vodka and sausage. So 6,000 people came. And this is really in the middle of nowhere. So 6,000 people came. And then he's making he's dancing, and his act was kind of like he's first inviting, like a Finnish drama of drunkenness, that first you invite friends and okay, you share and then you get happy and so on, and soon the melancholy comes and you hate everybody, I kick them out of the house. So same here too. And then in the end he just burned the whole thing. Yeah. And yeah. And we didn't know like how people would act. Like in some way, I was afraid that it's a kind of like violent act to burn houses or even a small village. But the people, they like spontaneously, they formed a circular wall, like around these burning barn houses, and some were crying and some were like predicting future from them, and like very shamanistic thing. Normal people are wonderful. So anyhow, then this burned down. And this was our harakiri. So, but like what was like an accident, so then Oppa. Yeah. Okay, where did I lose you? Somewhere here? No, yeah. Anyhow, they were burned. And but this then these kind of like pictures, they start to appear in local newspapers and then like national newspapers, and this became like a kind of an icon of speaking about the desertation process of Finnish countryside, which that time was the fastest in Europe. So people were abandoning local knowledges that were slowly developed during hundreds of years, and in just one generation moved to city and it's all gone. And then these pictures jumped a little bit to other countries too, and then we won some prize from the architectural review called Emerging Architecture. And then, well, that was an accident for us. But then we found some kind of like new way to deal with architecture, which was totally connected with other forms of art and sometimes science. So part of this architectural review's jury was architect Massimiliano Fuchsas, who then became the director of Venice Biennale. And then he called us and said that he wants something like this, like an architectonic scale installation or environmental artwork to Venice. And that can you do? That the theme of the Biennale is Città, less aesthetics, more ethics, somehow to discuss urban problematics. And what I wanted to do is to have a boat or ship and put the forest into the ship and then sail with the ship to Venice and attach it to some of the islands and open it as a public park. But then our friends who are biologists, they say that the thinking is unsound, the trees don't sail, that they would die somewhere around Biscaya Bay, that you must find the trees in the same climate belt, like around Venice, so then can do. So then we go there and start hunting for a ship there because not very much budget. So then we found this one ship in the port of Chioggia, 50 kilometers south of Venice, and it was sunk already. It's a barge called Topo Gigio. So we took it. There seemed to be no owner, and we took it and cleaned it up again and start some welding to make it waterproof, and stole it. But like, yeah. And then we like blowtorched some like openings to the central axis, so in order to create a series of interior spaces. And then start to think of the forest. Also these trees, they're oaks and they're sort of borrowed. And but then during this process we thought that it's not enough like to contrast this organic growth and industrial degeneration, that something is missing, that it's not like personal enough. And then for some reason, again this feeling that something is missing, like when the space was coming there and the character or the psyche or no character of this work was like it's becoming itself, it's like telling you that it wants to come more, that we haven't understand this person yet. And so this wasn't, but like how to get in dialogue with that kind of like a soul. And but then we ended up with this thinking that, okay, what happens in Venice when you flush a toilet? Where does everything go? And so we start to track down the sewage systems of Venice. And it all ends up in one very big pipe, like a total cloaca maxima. And it goes to a place called Biocomp. And there it is on the wall. Things are coming, 3 sedimentation pools, and then a mechanical biological treatment unit for anaerobic fermentation of the organic waste. Then you take it out, oxygenize it again, composting, and then sell it back as topsoil. So there we talk with this director of the plant called Dottore Codato, that how much does Venice produce human waste in a year. So he showed from his book like this much, but it's so big number, it was total abstract to me, I couldn't understand. So then we asked like how much in 1 hour, 60 minutes, and he says 67 cubic meters. Okay, this I understand, that can I have it? I say, yeah, be my guest. And so then we take this 60 minutes worth of human waste, we biologically clean it, composted it, and put it into the boat. So that's like under the white stones. The work is called 60-Minute Man. And in the last room there is no trees anymore, there is just a marble stone saying that this park has been planted on 60 minutes worth of human waste produced by City of Venice. This is the stuff now, like al dente condition. And then like a big reward was, like we did this in Chioggia. And we, like it took us 7 weeks. So during this process, so like wow, we haven't told the Biennale anything. Like we were just like working and okay, this gonna do that. Maybe we should inform them, man. Then we go there and talk, and that we're gonna come with a boat full of trees, and like, then they said, no, you're not. That we don't take any responsibility of any kind of floating installations. That it's too dangerous. No. And do you know how much does it cost if you put a boat to Arsenale harbor for 2 months? And we had no idea. We thought it's like for free. But no. But it was too late. We were already doing it. So we just finished it and then took another boat and started like towing it to Venice across the laguna. And call all kind of like Rai Uno and the media that we're coming and donating a new park for Venice. And then we come to the Arsenale harbor. There's a gate with 2 ships inside there. So the pier was full of media, like big cameras. And yeah, okay. And because the media was there, so the organization didn't stop us. They were like a little bit behind there. And then we come there and we tie off the boat. And the media come in and so on. The New York Times start writing about this, and then the Biennale organization was like, okay, no, you can have it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but totally illegal, stolen, and like no permission, forced to even to the Biennale. Yeah. And this is another one, like a floating work. It's in Rosendal, in the end of Hardangerfjord. It's a floating sauna. So it's totally improvised on the site and done in 2 days. So this is the one. It's a beautiful place, and like all the houses are terraced on the mountains and looking to the fjord. So beautiful. And so we did this kind of like happy marriage of Finnish and Norwegian cultures. You are the masters of shipbuilding and we are the master of sauna. So, and then this, and people can go there, take a rowing boat, go there, heat it up, or swim there. Yeah. Well, the walls are kind of like semi-transparent. You can see when the things are cooking, but maybe not too detailed. And the floor is open, so with good luck, so there's proper heat on the top floor, but then you can jump straight to the Hardangerfjord. But it's totally improvised. This is like an old jötul, what we found, and bucket of stones. It could be better. Yeah, this is the jötul. But still somehow working. But it was very, very interesting, nice feeling, because like the steam of water is cleaning you, and it's rocking slowly with the fjord. So some very nice feeling, like old. Then this is now in Taiwan, Taipei, the capital of Taiwan. So I was going there and I was supposed to do like invited by the city government to do like outlines for urban ecological restoration. It's a river valley. And so I go there and okay, but then I ended up here, like some friend, Professor Kamin J, took me here and that look at this, that this is unofficial. And so the place is called Treasure Hill. Around 400 households when I went there. And the same city government that invited me there was at the moment destroying this because it's like a self-built human organism or settlement. But I don't know, they just was destroying it. So they could bulldoze the first 3 layers of the houses here. But since there is no road inside, so they couldn't get in with the big machines. So what they did was knock off like all kind of connections between the individual houses, like bridges, steps, walkways, so that they get disconnected. And it's not an organism anymore, it's just a set of singular houses, a very different thing. And when it lost this, the nervous network was cut down. So and then they left them like slowly dying there, that they will abandon the place. But I was researching this place, and I found that this is much more ecologically sustainable than the surrounding contemporary city. That these people were composting all their organic waste and used that for fertilizer on the farms. It's an urban farming settlement. They had very clever ways of, they steal a little bit of water from the city, but pipes are leaking anyhow. So, and then they were cleaning their wastewaters with root cleansing, with patches of jungle just by gravity. Very, very clever. They steal electricity, but not too much. And nice place. Yeah, matriarchal actually. So then I reversed this process that I completely just committed to this. So I restart the farms and these wooden steps, for example. So start making connections between the houses again, so that this nervous network would somehow connect again, and then as a bigger organism they could think together, maybe collective conscious would be coming up, and so on. And all this too, is the material. I had 3 weeks time, so this is done in 3 weeks. So didn't have manpower and no material. So for manpower, went to local universities explaining what I tried to do. So in the end, have 200 students. And then for the material. So there was a bridge construction site next to us. So we sent a team of very beautiful Taiwanese girl students to explain to the construction workers what we are doing. And the construction workers admitted, okay, no worries. So when they go with the lorries to the construction site, then they would stop with us and not all, but some, and mostly wood. And so they steal the material for us. And then we can build. Like this guy couldn't even get home. They knocked off his stairs. And being on the site and working was very interesting for me because the nature is so fast. I don't know how many times faster than Finland, but let's say 30 times. So you can regard nature totally as an architectonic element, or if you are very clever, as the co-architect. So here, this is window. And then for me was this interesting too, that because the Treasure Hill was a ruin. It's man-made, but ruin is something man-made becoming part of nature. And that's a very high level of architecture. And it doesn't mean that the man should be away or human should be away. There's plenty of space for human too. So that's interesting. Because if you think of the city, I simplify it so that the urban development has 3 generations. First generation is city because of nature. Kristiansund here is because of your safe harbor, and there is a source of sweet water. This can afford density, and you get protein. So this, you can afford density. And the second generation Kristiansund is the industrial Kristiansund. Industrialism is a little bit weird because it has claimed independence from nature. It's a fiction. And that kind of fiction is the source of all pollution. But what is then the third generation Kristiansund? How can the industrial Kristiansund, which is very young, learn to become again part of nature? And that's the third generation city. So in Treasure Hill, we were thinking of this third generation city and how the learnings of the Treasure Hill could like help the larger Taipei. This is Mrs. Chen. She was 86 years old when I was working there, and she was the matriarch of Treasure Hill, like anarchist grandmother. Powerful. So then we interview her quite a bit because she was so old that she remembered all the generations of Taipei and, for example, how the river had changed or when this and that fish did not come back. So, and it's not a fiction, she knows, remembers. So then, besides Mrs. Chen, we start to find other people who we call local knowledge professors. You know, they are not fiction, they know. So then it can be fishermen, farmers and so on, and then we interview them and get data, like real data. And then about how to treat this real data of local knowledge. So then we occupy a 5-story abandoned apartment building in center of Taipei and turn it into an independent research center called Ruin Academy. And in this Ruin Academy, we take this research design and development further. So we knock off all the walls, interior walls, so that there is only the real primary structure of the house left. And then we start drilling holes through the whole building so that it can rain inside. Because if you have topsoil, light, water, you can start like growing things, or things will start growing. Like here comes water. Yeah, these are 15 centimeter diameter. Like a typical floor plan, holes, and maybe fireplace, and then we knock off all the windows and just grow bamboo. That will take care of the noise and the storm waters, but that's it. Also blow the basement open and dig, so we find the original ground. And this is total open form. There is no like a regulation. People do what they do. Somebody play cello and somebody's growing some root called taro. Here is a bed which is on wheels, so that if it's raining straight on you, you can roll around to some more dry corner. Places for the researchers to work and sleep. Some garden, something growing, researchers. And then, because this is in the city, so we need to talk with the neighbors. This has no permission from officials, but like we need to talk to real people because they must accept us. So, and you cannot go to normal people with like blueprints. It's insulting. So we make like a really big model and then like this, and then carry the really big model and explain like what we try to do, and they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. So this is the model, and this is the real thing. Like some kind of caveman style. And on the 5th floor we have a public sauna. Probably best sauna in the Pacific. And yeah, and this is like the real information center. Yeah. Here is interesting. I've been following this tree since 2010, and it has not grown an inch. It stays like this. It's on the wall of the Ruin Academy. It's a big inspiration. It's an urban bonsai. So it has found some crack in this facade, and then it's like growing there and put the roots. It knows exactly like how the winds are, how much topsoil is coming with the rain, and knows that I cannot grow more. I will fall down. So it stays like that. But it would not be here without architecture. It would not be here without human. So that's hopeful. On the other wall, I guess it's the same species, but this is like 5 floors high. But the roots are not touching ground. And then we get like really curious that, because this is a big tree, that where does the roots go? So we hire a construction engineer with a scanning device. What usually you are checking the rebars in the concrete slabs. So he's like scanning the house and check, and then reports that it has two sets of roots. That one set of roots goes straight to the concrete slabs of the building, and it's using the whole building as a structure. And the second set of roots go to the water and sewage system. So it knows exactly how much people are flushing toilet, and and it's living off that. Again, it would not be here without architecture, and it would not survive without humans using architecture. So that's very hopeful, like a third generation condition. But this happens with nature like in any scale, like any scale. Like the only rule of nature is like existence maximum, like biggest production of life as possible in the given conditions. Also in city. Nature only wants one thing from the city, to turn the city to be part of nature. Otherwise it's against nature. It's not very complicated. So then about this third generation city or urban acupuncture, so this is what people really do. This is in Taipei City. The pink building is a World Trade Center. And this is an empty lot. It's the most expensive land in Taipei City, and 3 banks have been fighting for it for like decades. It's too expensive, they cannot control. So the anarchist grandmothers have attacked. And they occupy this place and turn it into a community garden. And they've been gardening there for tens of years. And it's become a total, it is culture. So you see these containers. That's where the kids after school, they come, they have to carry water for the grannies, and that's where they do homework. So like a very, very important place. I see this as a needle of urban acupuncture. It's a huge positive ripple effect for the whole city, just this one needle of the grannies. And this is a real map of urban acupuncture. So here is all the different community gardens, urban farms, illegal settlements, organic settlements of Taipei Basin. So this is what real people do. They penetrate through the very thin layers of asphalt and concrete, touch the original ground, which is also the same as local knowledge, and start tuning the whole city towards the organic. It's very cool and totally unofficial. This is Taipei City. It's a river basin, 7 million people. And like if you compare the community garden to this is the official solution from the city, how to live together with river nature. So in between the city, modern city, and river, there is 12 meters high reinforced concrete wall. Absolutely no connection. Flooding, like when the typhoons are coming, the river is flooding, but understanding flooding is the basis of whole rice farming. It's artificial flooding. That's why the whole city is there. Like flooding means density. But yeah, very stupid. But here's like another, just an example of these ruin academies. This is another ruin academy in South Taiwan. It is in an abandoned Japanese sugar factory. Here you see. So in this, people love the factory so much, but it hadn't been operating since 1996, but it was like a temple for them. Many people have been working in them for like generations. It's like precious. So it was like sealed. And then they let me in and said, yeah, no, well, let's activate that. You can come to your temple and so on, but it doesn't need to produce like a sugar in an industrial way. Let's turn it into a jungle. And turn the water system so that instead of taking rainwaters out, we take it in. Break the roof, light comes in, insects come in, and start planting things that you can eat, for example. And this happened. So that's there in Taidong. it's like an organic machine. And these are aboriginals, so they have two kinds of people. It's the Han Chinese, like the Taiwanese in general, and then this aboriginal tribe called Amis. So of course the aboriginals knew like every, whatever you can eat from the mountain or from the jungle. So they start picking up the plants and then the jungle start growing and break the roof. So we reverse this water system and collect rainwater to these tanks and then take further it to the jungle with gravity. Young jungle. Volunteers. Here is some topics that we've been touching with these ruin academies. Illegal architecture, urban acupuncture, river urbanism, urban nomad, organic machine, and parasite urbanism. So this is what we've been studying or researching and turning them into designs too, and reporting to the city government. These are also topics that the official government cannot handle. This is like totally out of their scope. They know they exist, but they don't have the tools how to deal. So they sponsor our Ruin Academy because of this. But these are all based on local knowledge, like these anarchist grannies. Here is just a small example what local knowledge can do. Insect architecture. So this is in Shenzhen, in South China, and all the Chinese cities are built by migrating workers. The migrating workers come from different places around China, from countryside to the cities, and they build the new cities. But they are quite often unofficial, but always migrating. So in this case, we talk with a bunch of people who come from a province called Guangxi, next to Vietnam, and ask like, what do you really can build? Like, what is your local knowledge if you come from countryside? Because, yeah, and then they say, we can do anything of bamboo. That's all right. And then we start to improvise with them, like on the site, like start drawing, like 1-to-1 scale, like is this possible? And they explain about their bamboo structures and how to harvest bamboo and so forth, to make a big bucket structure. That's what they do back home. And the site was kind of like idle, so we just took it over. And then I asked the migrating workers that, what do you need? And they said that they need like a kind of like a social club or place to sing karaoke. That's all right. And so that we do this and then you sing karaoke. And yeah. And this is weak architecture. So there is no nail or any other connector for the whole building. It's only bamboo. So bamboo arches which are connected and then stripes of bamboo that are making the bigger bucket structure. But in the end, this weak architecture becomes so strong that when you enter, the whole city disappears. Like it's totally gone. Like feels like you step into some maybe organism or into forest or something else, something that is organic. And that's so powerful that then the mechanical city disappears. Very good microclimate inside. And this is the stage for karaoke. In nighttime they put one construction light and it becomes a disco. It's very, very, very good lines compared to the boring skyscraper. And here is some sort of a karaoke event is cooking up. But this is the most important. So this they knew from the beginning. So like when the bucket structure was coming there, they were saying that we must start piling like topsoil, ground soil to one wall up to this height. And okay, we did this. And then it took it's like a matter of, 2-3 weeks. And it's like totally disappear in the city. A very good microclimate inside. And this following them them working like this was amazing for me, and also like very learning, because then you understand that the essence of local knowledge is actually to regard nature as the co-architect. Because like otherwise you are somehow like pushing too much. But like in here too, they wanted to be as lazy as possible. Yeah, and then the nature came in and they knew how it would go. So that kind of thing compared to, for example, this. So this is Docken in Bergen. So we win this competition of developing a new like area for Bergen, 420,000 square meters. And together with some Norwegian friends, Probis, Asplanviak and MAD. But this will be all wood, like all wood. When it comes, it will be the largest contemporary wooden urbanism in the world. Well, welcome. Okay, I'm off again. Yeah.
He's working hard as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the users are these migrating workers. So yeah, still, yeah, they have a camp like where they live just next to it, but there is no like a community space. So it's their unofficial community space. Mm. Yeah, but also like the sun is very striking. It's in South China, so if you are like with asphalt and the sun in the city, it's like scorching. Yeah, but this is very shady and also because it's so big like a temperature differences between inside that cocoon and then the outside, so it starts generating winds. Mm. It's moist, yeah, but like it's moist. Like whole South China is moist, but yeah. Yeah, it's that. I think what this like a forest is doing is like it's somehow cooling it, like the creepers that are there. So it's like they're releasing some, like it's cooling it. Oh, we're back. Okay, so this is Docken, but yeah, these kind of things are easy to do. It's just, but then when you really start thinking that like how to start this, if this will end up with 420,000 square meters and new wood, so that will be interesting. Now the city is like zoning it slowly, but then they are also like we are in dialogue with them, like how to really start it, like and how to connect it with local knowledge. So also this is a possibility because it's Docken, it's a harbor, so it's a little bit shame if the ships stop coming. So in this case, we are now researching this that to have like a proper size of general cargo ships and barges and have them permanently there, instead of taking them to scrapping in India or Bangladesh. So, okay, take the engine away and so on, but keep them permanently there and make new kind of like naval urbanism out of that. Like we calculated what kind of power would have a general cargo ship if you put like these mechanical biological treatment units inside, all kind of recycling mechanisms. So one of these can like take care of a whole city. So and and if they are not sailing anymore, that they are sort of permanently there like islands. So it can open up some other ways of thinking the ships too. You can start cutting them open, taking light into the cargo spaces, and they're actually wonderful creatures. So here is the bio ship now with some inspector. Yeah, bio ship with a small barge. Barges are wonderful. A community barge. Some sort of a community again. Yeah. Hippies. Theater. And so forth. But like if you think, like in this place, like if you would have those kind of like a ships, what kind of spaces they are, and how to activate it for community or communities, it is interesting. And that's really your local knowledge. And the other thing was that maybe we do this, that we start the bigger, like a wooden development project with very, very small units, like a real like urban acupuncture. So these are micro apartment buildings. The footprint of the whole apartment building is 1 car parking space, 2.5 meters times 5 meters. We can go up to 3 or 4 floors, and construction time will be 2.5 hours. So we've been testing that, we know. So this is one of those, we call them sticks. This stick is now in Helsinki. It's a cross-laminated timber, and all these floors are prefabricated. So they're spatial modules. So just take them to the site, 1, 2, 3, put some screws and done. And it should be working so that it's totally off the grid, like produce some sort of electricity and use similar kind of ways of treating water like in camping, like wagons, for example. It's all possible. And this takes 2.5 hours to set up. And no foundation is needed. So it's massive wood is 5 times lighter than reinforced concrete. So actually in the bottom there is a sandbox. It's like this, deep. We take it to the side, fill it with sand, so it becomes like an anchor then. But imagine that it is 1 car parking space. And so basically wherever you can drive a car, we can build this. Like overnight, just like that. Stick. Yeah, and this now we must give some credits to architect Hans-Petter Björnådal. He's a very good friend of mine, and these theories of urban acupuncture and so on, they're very much evolved in discussions with him over the years. Also this tikku, the stick. So like, this is his works. So like if you want, it just means if you want to have the car, so have it then. So you can just build on top too. So this is interesting because like all the cities are like complaining that there's no space, and everybody's talking about density. There's no space. Total bullshit. Cities are full of space, but it's for cars. That's the only question. Like it's just a value question, not about space. Then the next big thing, I will end up with this one. So we are just coming back from very different environment, from Florida in West Palm Beach, like very posh, like a rich, conservative place. And there's Mr. Trump is living next to it in the Palm Beach Island. There's a lot of wealth, but all the wealth is like sort of focused in the downtown or on the villas next to the seashore. But the city is big, and there's a lot of communities in the city, Latino, whatever communities, but they are sort of like, they are just serving the downtown. So we started this kind of process. It's called Trojan rocking horse. And you know the story of Troy, the Greeks were attacking Troy by making this big horse, and the Trojans took it inside the city, but in the belly was a Greek army, and then they took over the city. So I also want to constantly attack city, but I don't want to bring any army in the belly, but like in this case, dreams. And like where to get these dreams, so that's interesting. So we made this kind of, this is very totally based on communities, but these not unofficial communities, but let's say more marginal. So first arrange 8 workshops for local children around. Then with these design workshops, I would get designs and models from the children, what is a Trojan rocking horse. Then I would take this with me to Finland and actually design 8 Trojan rocking horses, make 3D models, everything. Then I would take 2 welders from Finland, my friends, and fly back to West Palm Beach, take over a metal shop and make these horses, but like real size. Like back is here and head is here. And then when they are ready, in this case they are aluminium, so then take it back to the children so that they see that their designs are real, that I follow them, they are the authors, and I did what I promised. And then they are writing dreams. There's an invitation to dream, like my dream for the city. So they will write their dream, how they see the city should go, and put into the horse. So there is some like opening somewhere, and you put it, and then in the belly starts coming these children's dreams. In the end, I would start attacking the city with the children from these 8 places, coming closer to the downtown, and in the end, to the city hall. And then the mayor is waiting, and I come with 8 horses, some hundreds of children, and hopefully thousands of dreams, and deliver it to him. And then he needs to deal with it, respond back, that's his duty. So first do these children workshops. I just show some pictures. In 8 places. That's how it looks like. It takes around 2 hours for one workshop. This is in an anarchist bookshop for children. Very interesting place, Rouhi's Readery. The youngest ones were like 6 months old, doing the designs. It's a black neighborhood, UB Kinsey, Palm Beach Public, Esperanza community, dyslexic children, green market. And then you get this this is a Trojan rocking horse. And that's with his dream too. Or this is a Trojan rocking horse, seems to be a unicorn. Trojan rocking horse. Yeah, so then we have a lot of collage material. We call these junkograms. So the children can put colors and materials on top of them. But they are all very different. This is wonderful too, Trojan rocking horse. Plenty of different ones. And then in Finland, so I start fusing them together, making bigger scale, first cardboard models to test the balance, and okay, it's really rocking. Then 3D models that okay, this could be the one. We attach wheels for them for the marching, and when they are on a place, we can take the wheels away, so then they are rocking. This is Mr. Remy Jr., 2 years. And this is his Trojan rocking horse. And that's the end product. So it's straight. in this case, Remy's horse became real. Here are the 8 in a metal shop. Our glorious welders. This is aluminium. Slowly, slowly coming. These 3 guys. Yeah, and then there's this. We found out there's a fantastic legend of the barefoot mailman. So 100 years ago, 150 years ago, this guy would go delivering mail barefoot from house to house and spreading rumors. So he's like the kind of like community glue and like a rumor person. Rumors are very, very important, especially when you think of urban acupuncture. Very, very important. You can design whole cities by rumors. Like, ask CIA. Well, anyhow, this is the barefoot mailman. And then we have these like 8 locations, start attacking towards the downtown. This is more or less in the downtown. But before we could go, so I have to take the Trojan rocking horse to the, city government meeting that they have to approve, give a permission. Like the mayor is in the center, so he has to okay, go. Yeah, and then the Trojan rocking horse is in the news. Okay, like now we're talking. and then in the end, the poor guy just have to thumbs up, go. Yeah. Your community engagement all the way. Here are the 8 Trojan rocking horses now in the parade mode. Some our troopers. But excellent people. On the right-hand side is Rafael Clemente, who is the director of the Downtown Development Authority. So he took a very big risk for letting us do this. And the woman in the center is Cheryl Muriente, like a public realm director. So, yeah. Some photos here, they start going towards the city hall. And at this point, we have 1,300 dreams. So now we delivered them, was it March 13 or around that time. And now we've been analyzing all the dreams and aspirations from the children and other citizens. We are kind of categorizing them. And then next we start giving proposals for the mayor, like what he should do. So this is just another way of urban development or community engagement, or I don't know what you want to call this, dream city. But it's very important to start with the kids, because if you really want to spread rumors, they are the ones. They go back home, they eat dinner, tell to their parents what we did today. Parents what? And then the next morning they tell in their work what is happening and so on. So, yeah. And nobody can stop them. Kids are powerful. And then we also printed newspaper about the whole process, in there, and spread those too, so that it gets a more gravity. Here is the representatives of the children speaking straight to the mayor. The mayor is standing there. This is the mayor with Mr. Clemente. Mayor again. Kids. And now he is reading some of the dreams, not of course 1,300, but a good bunch. And you could see that the hardcore politician is getting moved. So he has to respond back. Yeah. This is our newspaper. Yeah, some of the dreams, not too many, but let's see. Okay, this guy is saying to stop homelessness. This always comes with children. They are so sensitive. Yeah, always comes. And we should listen. I want people to be fair. For the city to stop, for the city to stay as environmentally kind as it can, and to not let pollution to get bad. My dream is to be a singer and an artist. In the city, I want to help people to cross the street, help my mom with the grocery stores. My dream is to be able to jump off the inlet dock without the neighbors calling the cops on you. My dream is to be a police and be rich. And this one, this is great guy. Paw Patrol is real. Okay, thank you. Please comment or criticize. Menno, say something. Okay, there, please.
I'm living in Bergen.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very curious about Docken.
Well, what I know about Docken is that I think since last autumn, the city is now thinking ways how to do the zoning. Yeah, and I think that process is going on. I'm sure it is very linked with politics. I have nothing to do with that. But I'm trying to suggest them all the time, what would be the good ways to start. That's more or less it. Yes?
Thank you for a very nice speech. And I have worked with urban gardens before. And it's a very important thing for food security in the world.
Yes.
So,
I think this urban gardenings or collective farms or however you call it, so I think that is a very, very important thing, and especially when you are involving children with that. So then I believe so too. No, it's like with Taipei it was very active, maybe 2-3 years. Then with the one with the jungle inside, so that's been maybe 4 years. But it's like a on-off. Like sometimes can arrange there a workshop or studio or something like that, and in other times the ex-factory workers are hanging around there. But this can be activated wherever. It can be activated here. Yeah. But it needs to be multidisciplinary. Like that's very important, that it's don't belong to any discipline of art and science like architecture or urbanism. It must be like mixed people, so it becomes kind of like a community, like academic squatting. Okay, thank you.